Responses? The member from Oshawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity to respond to the statement by the Associate Minister of Finance. Yesterday, the government introduced two pieces of pension legislation, and I am going to take this opportunity to speak a bit about both. Speaker, in this chamber, we do disagree on a lot of things. We disagree on what should be done, we disagree on when it should be done, and most often, we disagree on how we're going to go about doing it. But there are a few things we can all agree upon, and I think that one of them is that Ontarians deserve the right to retire with dignity. We may disagree on the details, but ultimately we all agree on the importance of retirement security. So, Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to be able to stand in this proud legislature and speak about a progressive and vital topic, pensions. Coming out of the public sector, specifically education, I know the value of a pension. Pensioners know the value of a pension, and those who work and wonder how they will survive or thrive after their working years also know the value of a pension. As New Democrats, we have always and will always continue to believe that all Ontarians should have access to a strong, defined benefit pension plan, and for those that don't have one, it is our duty as representatives of this province to provide it. We want Ontarians to have good pensions, but let's talk about what a good pension really is. A pension is a safe, protected, low-cost vehicle for individuals to not only save money, but for employers to add to that savings and for that protected savings to grow and eventually provide benefits and financial predictability and security into retirement. Life doesn't stop at retirement, Mr. Speaker. People will want to know that there is money and that they have health and wellness support as they age and improve. Defined contribution plans are insufficient in terms of providing for pensioners, and they are more costly to the system in the long term. The shift from defined benefit to defined contribution is turning out to have been a short-sighted, corporate-driven, costly shift, as reports like Brown and McInnes's report Shifting Public Sector DB Plans to DC, the experience so far and implications for Canada, and Hoop's report, The Advantages of Defined Benefit Pension Plans, Independent Research and Case Studies. As these reports are coming to light, we are seeing the benefit, pardon the pun, in prioritizing DB plans over DC plans. Our hope is the government will take counsel from those who are writing the reports and who actually and actuarially know about designing pensions. The government consistently speaks about voluntary options, their role in supporting Ontarians in their retirement. Well, we support options and we support Ontarians. We will have a lot of conversation about what plans are comparable and which groups are going to be exempt. However, let's have this conversation. Let's give those who are exempt and looking for voluntary savings options a viable, low-cost way to contribute both to the success of the ORPP and their own retirement security. The more people in the plan, the more money in the pool. And the more money in the pool, the more security and benefit for pensioners. So we can talk about who will be exempt, but let's also talk about who will be able to participate or opt in. If this government is truly committed to the idea of helping Ontarians plan for and afford their futures, if they truly believe in retirement security and stability, then they should be leading with public pensions and not with the PRPPs, which send pensioners' savings to banks and insurance companies through high fees with low transparency, both accumulation and decumulation fees. Hardworking Ontarians are going to retire eventually, and 2/3 of Ontarians do not have a workplace pension. They deserve to work and retire with dignity. And as I said before, banks and big business are doing just fine, and they are not planning to retire anytime soon. I imagine the government has immense pressure from the banks and insurance companies to make changes to grow their industry. I'm not interested in standing in the way of business, but we are interested in workers and families and in the average individual who is trying to get by and hopefully get ahead. The Bay Street lobby groups are likely to be quiet for a while now that the government is rolling out the promised PRPP legislation so far ahead of any real ORPP legislation. As I learned from the Ministry of Finance Estimates Committee, there will be 3 pieces of ORPP legislation. The first, as we see here, is little more than a shell game by the government to distract Ontarians from the private option that the government has tabled to appease the banks and insurance companies. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a lot of work to be done. As I stated earlier, we all agree on the importance of retirement security. Retirement security. But as we all know, the devil's in the details. So we will look forward to seeing more of the details of this plan, and we will fight to ensure that the plan is strong, progressive, and available to as many Ontarians as possible. As a New Democrat, I know the value of a strong defined benefit pension, and we hope that the government does too. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.